Hello and welcome to the show. I am Joe Tophat. Charles Schulz loved America. He often expressed his patriotism through peanuts. The best example of this would be in the miniseries This Is America, Charlie Brown. Much like Why Charlie Brown Why, This Is America, Charlie Brown is meant to be educational. In this case, it's meant to teach kids about American history, a subject I hold dear to my heart. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any information on what led to the creation of this miniseries. I think that Schulz wanted to make this as a way to introduce American history to kids, something I'm 100% behind. With that out of the way, let's begin. Unlike most Peanuts specials, This Is America, Charlie Brown features adults. A lot of fans criticize the miniseries for doing this, since it violates a cardinal rule in Peanuts, that no adult is ever seen. Schulz didn't mind breaking this rule, because he felt strongly about the subject matter. Personally, I don't mind that they showed adults, because these are historical figures, and it would be impossible to make this miniseries without showing them. As a rule, I prefer that there are no adults in Peanuts, but this is a worthy exception. The miniseries contains 8 episodes, each one covering a different topic. The first episode is called The Mayflower Voyages. This one is the most watched out of all these episodes, since it has often been paired with A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. Even the DVDs of A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving included as a bonus episode. As you might expect, the episode features the characters coming to America on the Mayflower. It does a really good job at showing the difficulties the Pilgrims encountered through their journey. It doesn't shy away from the fact that many lost their lives during the first winter in America, before they met Squanto. There are plenty of jokes to keep this episode from becoming too depressing, but for the most part it takes itself pretty seriously. The second episode is called The Birth of the Constitution. Here, we see the characters work at the Constitutional Convention. Charlie Brown does valet parking. Sally fills the inkwells. Snoopy and Woodstock are the guards. Marcy and Peppermint Patty carry buckets of water. Lucy is the mop girl. And Linus is an usher. He basically listens in on the convention and explains to the others what is going on. It does a great job at showing the arguments the founders at the convention made. There was a lot of disagreement, and there was a fear that the convention would fail. We see this fear reflected in Peppermint Patty's letter to her grandma. There was even a part where Lucy said they should just elect a queen. Yeah, Lucy has always expressed interest in being the queen, but it does reflect a sentiment certain people had at the time. There were some people who felt that George Washington should be king. The third episode is called The Wright Brothers at Kitty Hawk. The beginning talks about the many attempts mankind has made over the centuries to fly, leading up to the Wright brothers making their first flight in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. We see Charlie Brown and Linus visit Linus's cousin Dolly and Kitty Hawk. Snoopy is their driver, and boy is he fast. Dolly is the one who explains who the Wright brothers are, and about their many experiments in flight. She then takes Linus and Charlie Brown to meet them. Marcy and Peppermint Patty basically serve as assistants to the Wright brothers. I love the part where Charlie Brown wrecks one of the Wright brothers' kites. They were actually more concerned for his well-being than the kite. A rarity for Charlie Brown, where someone actually cares if he's okay. The characters do get to witness the first 2 flights made by the Wright brothers. The first lasting 12 seconds, and the second lasting roughly about a minute. Another solid episode. The fourth episode, the NASA space station, takes a different approach. While the first three episodes showed the characters in a historical setting interacting with historical figures, the NASA space station features the characters making models of a NASA space station for a contest. Linus has a dream that he and the others have to spend 90 days in space, with the whole thing being broadcast on TV. This one is more about showcasing how astronauts function in space, rather than explaining a historical event like the moon landing. It's not a bad episode. I do love seeing the characters interacting in space, and how in the end they were able to come together to solve a problem. The only thing that connected to American history is when Lucy, Sally, and Peppermint Patty were talking about historical events like the Lewis and Clark expedition. Since this miniseries is supposed to be about American history, it's a little odd that they didn't explore the history of NASA. Still, it's a lot of fun to watch. The fifth episode is the building of the Transcontinental Railroad. Charlie Brown is given an oral report on the event. This one is a return to form over the previous episode. The difference between this one and the earlier episodes is that there isn't a huge focus on the characters. We do see them help build a railroad, but they didn't play a big role as they did in previous episodes. If I had to guess why, it could be because the Chinese and the Irish played a huge role in building the Transcontinental Railroad. It might have been seen as disrespectful to not focus on that fact. Again, this is just a guess on my part. I don't really know. We do see Snoopy driving the final Spike, which was made out of gold. The sixth episode is The Great Inventors. Like the previous episode, we see the characters at school given oral reports. Sally starts off by listing various things that were invented in America, with Snoopy demonstrating the inventions. Linus gives a report on the Alexander Graham Bell. We do see Linus interact with the famous inventor, where he succeeds at sending the first phone call. Then it moves on to Peppermint Patty, giving a report on Thomas Edison. Okay, I know Thomas Edison gets a bad rap these days, but keep in mind, this was made in a time where he was respected. I do think he's overhated these days. I'm not blind to his faults, but still, he's an important figure in American history. How you feel about him doesn't change that. Anyway, the episode ends with Charlie Brown giving his report on the invention of the automobile, with a message on the changes to come. These final two episodes combine two different subjects. I don't know why they did that, but it really doesn't hurt the quality of these episodes. The seventh episode is the Smithsonian and the Presidency. The characters are looking at different exhibits at the Smithsonian, one of them being a Peanuts comic strip. This episode was first aired in 1989, the bicentennial of the American Presidency. This is most likely why this episode was made. The presidents they showcased were Abe Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, and FDR. The final episode is The Music and Heroes of America. This one features Schroeder giving a presentation on American musicians like Stephen Foster, John Philip Sousa, and Irving Berlin. He and the others would play the music Throughout his presentation, Schroeder is interrupted by Lucy to talk about important American heroes, like Susan B. Anthony. This episode does cover some of the ugly things in American history, like slavery. It does a great job at tying these two subjects together. They even brought back Cam Clarke, who had voiced Snoopy in Snoopy the Musical, to sing Yankee Doodle Dandy as Snoopy. The ending has Charlie Brown name Linus and Lucy as his favorite song, a nice tribute to the late Vince Guaraldi. This Is America, Charlie Brown is a great mini-series. It does a great job at presenting American history to kids in a fun way. Some might find it off-putting that they actually show adults, but to me, it doesn't hurt the quality. It actually helps it. I watch it every year for the 4th of July. I highly recommend getting this on DVD. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. And don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later.